Hello everyone, I did not do a June TBR, and I've decided that, the message is clear, all the cool kids are doing it on BookTube. My monthly TBRs are only like 3 minutes anyways, so I am going to be switched to doing quarterly TBRs, because frankly, I just kind of throw my TBRs at the end of the wrap-up usually, or I make them a single video, and they're like 4 minutes, and it's just like, I'm just going to do it for the entire summer. And also, I'm going to be doing a read-along. I'm going to be trying to start one. This will be the first read-along that I have really started. I haven't tried any, and I'm going to see how this one goes. And if it goes well, I may do a seasonal read-along, probably every other season. I feel like there's already so many read-alongs around BookTube, and I feel like trying to have one every season can just get exhausting. So I'll probably, maybe only like one series per year, and not huge series. Well, there's some huge books in this series, but it's not going to be for a super long series. But let's get into the stuff I'm probably going to read in summer, and the read-along we're going to do. So there is a series that, if you asked me about it in December of last year, I would have told you, I've never heard of that series. And then I would have been like, oh, it's the guy who wrote that short story collection. I guess he has a fantasy series. But now, it has been highly requested by many people, including Kyle, Read by Kyle, who I'm going to shout out right away, because he sent me this book. And he sent me this book even though shipping was unreasonable. Partially because of social pressure, because after the dude told him how much the shipping was, it would be embarrassing to be like, no, that's ridiculous. And he probably shouldn't have done that. He probably should have, after he learned that shipping was unreasonable, even though we live in the same country. I guess it's a big country in shipping's defense, but still, the same country. He should have told me to kick rocks and to get the book myself. But he didn't, and he sent me The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. And I also would like to shout out Jimmy Nuts for putting this series on my radar. He's been very, very, very enthusiastic about the Dandelion Dynasty, which is the series that I will be trying to start a read-along for. And Patrick had a really positive review for it. And also Lucas on Mike's Book Reviews Discord, who does not have a channel, but also hyped it quite a lot. And there's a couple other people on other Discords who have said really, really, really positive things. RJ Gimson, he's at least 9 feet tall Irish giant. He may actually be a giant, like literally, like one of the ones from like Game of Thrones, like North of the Wall. Like he might actually be a giant, and he also is loving the series. So it's come highly recommended. I have heard that book 1 is different from the other books. Book 1 is around 600 pages. The following books are not. Book 2 I think is similar, and then the last 2 are like 1,000 each. So the schedule for the read along. I'm probably gonna start this in September, so you got plenty of time to make room for it on your TBR. And I'll be doing Grace of Kings in September. And I don't have a Discord, but I will probably be getting threads open for it on Alex's, Mike's, Sarah's, and maybe Alan's. So if you're in any of those 4, then there should be threads for it there. I'm gonna get those to be a thing, and I'm gonna do Grace of Kings in September, and then Wall of Storms in October, and then I think I'm gonna do 2 months each for the next. No, you know what? They're big book. We can do a book a month. They're big books, but it's a month. We're gonna do 1 a month. We're gonna then do. I forgot the title of book 3. This is awkward. Veiled Throne in November, and then close out the year with Speaking Bones, which I believe just came out, and I'm really hyped for this series. I have, as I said, I've heard that it's an omniscient book, and I've heard book 1 is kind of different than the first 3 in that it is more more grand narrative, in that it's more like widespread, and then it switches to being like a more personal narrative. I know it's inspired by a time in Chinese history, which if you look at one of the negative reviews on Goodreads, one of the top ones, there's like a really tilting negative review where it starts off by saying, like, it's just a work of plagiarism, and it even says a name that it plagiarized off, so it tricks you into thinking, like, oh, this person just plagiarized another author, and then you read down, like, 4 paragraphs, and then you see what it's saying they plagiarized, and it's like it plagiarized history. It's like, it's based off history, and so they're saying it's plagiarized this person. And at first, they phrase it as, it copied this person, who, of course, just wrote a history book about it, recounting history. Wait until this person finds out historical fiction is a genre. He's gonna be like, this entire genre is plagiarism. Look at War and Peace. It's just copying historical. Anyways, so that Goodreads review just tilted me, and it made me really, really want to like this book. Just because, I mean, when the top negative review... Wait until this person learns Gavriel Kay is a person. It's gonna be like, he stole events from 10th century Spain. He's a hack. Anyway, so that's what it's about. And if you want to join that, I really am hoping this goes well. I convinced Baba or Dylan to join it, although he might abandon us for the next 2. And, you know, you don't have to commit to doing all 4. I'm rather confident I'm going to like this series. I've seen it compared to a lot of people I really like. It seems to be to appeal to people both for, like, being thought-provoking and, like, character-driven and emotionally driven, and also just being completely epic. I have seen people recount it as having their most hateable antagonist, and also having their favorite battle scene in fantasy, and also for having some of their best exploration of themes. I have heard this is what I have heard about the series. I have obviously not read it. The 2 criticisms I've seen, basically, if these are the reasons you don't like book 1, you should continue, are apparently book 1 does not have a lot of female characters, but then books 2, 3, and 4 have, like, an amazing cast of really well-developed, dynamic, and complex and strong and complex female characters. And also, as I said, it's a less personal narrative. Anyways, we spent 5 minutes on this one book, but I want to make this read-along a thing, and it's going to start in September of this year, and I'll be reading Grace of Kings and reacting and talking about it on a number of Discords. And then I might do a stream, if anyone joins in on that. I'm sure Kyle would join in on that. Jimmy would probably join in on that. Sure, other people would as well. And if people join me for reading it, I can get them to join as well. So I'll likely, I might do like a stream, a live show for all 4 books. I think I'm going to do that. At least 1 each, maybe 2. Maybe 1 for the first 2 books, 1 for the last 2 books, depending how available people are. We're going to figure it out, but that is going to be the read-along, which isn't even summer, because it's starting in September, that'll be summer. But this is actually, I'm 6 minutes, no, there's an intro as well. I'm like 8 minutes into my summer TBR video, and I haven't talked about books I'm going to read in summer, except for Grace of Kings. So, we're moving on. I'm going to read City of Brass in summer, because I'm reading City of Brass now, and it's summer. This is my university book club read. I am in a university book club, and we read a sci-fi or fantasy book every month. I actually forgot to bring a book here. I don't know where my copy went, but I own one somewhere. But Editing Me is going to put up an image here. I'll also be reading Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. That's what the book club is doing for July. And presumably we'll also do something for August and September, which will also be books I read in the summer. But I have no idea what those are going to be. So I have no way of knowing. And then there's another read-along going on that I'll talk about next, which is the Shadow Campaigns going on Alan's channel. It has been delayed slightly, partially because Alan is behind, which was nice for me because I wanted to catch up on some series. So the Shadow Throne is going to be in July, and then book 3 will be August, and then book 4 will be September, and then book 5 will be October. I enjoyed book 1 a good bit. It was not one of my favorite reads ever, but it was like a solid 4-star. I enjoyed it throughout, had some kick-ass battles. It was a good time. It's the reason why reading is my favorite hobby, because I can read a book that isn't one of my favorites ever, and I still thoroughly enjoyed it. This is why my ratings do not average out to 5, and they average out to like 7 point something. Anyway, very obviously, there's something I'm very excited for that is coming up shortly, which is that I am almost, but also something I'm it's going to be bittersweet, because I'm almost completely caught up on the works of Mr. Gavriel Kay. I finished River of Stars recently, and it was really good. It would be one of my lower Gavriel Kay books. Sorry, Books Unbound, if you see this. I also am with the people who liked Under Heaven way more. I still really enjoyed it quite a lot, especially how it ended, and how it started, the first and last chapters, and a lot of stuff in the middle. It's an amazing political scheming. Some really good main characters. I felt the supporting cast wasn't quite strong. This is not a wrap-up. This is a TBR. Anyways, I've got 2 left. A Brightness Long Ago and Children of Earth and Sky. And I'm going to go against the wisdom of Scott and the wisdom of Steven Erikson here. And I'm going to go with what Gavriel Kay fans have told me somewhat consistently, which is ignore the usually correct advice of publication order always and read A Brightness Long Ago before Children of Earth and Sky. I will then also likely reread All the Seas of the World because I don't think I gave it a fair chance because it seems to connect a lot with A Brightness Long Ago. Like these seem to almost be a trilogy. From what I've heard, almost everyone says read A Brightness Long Ago first, and then it seems to not matter as much what order you read Children of Earth and Sky and All the Seas of the World, which is weird because the recommended reading order, it seems to be settling on A Brightness Long Ago, Children of Earth and Sky, All the Seas of the World, which is neither chronological order nor publication order. Chronological order is A Brightness Long Ago, All the Seas of the World, Children of Earth and Sky. Publication order is Children of Earth and Sky, A Brightness Long Ago, All the Seas of the World. But that seems to be the consensus order, like if you go to r/Guy Gavriel Kay or based on people in the comments. So, whatever. I have obviously already read All the Seas of the World because I couldn't resist the shiny new book, so I screwed myself over. But I'm going to be reading A Brightness Long Ago next. I'm really excited to read A Brightness Long Ago. I know it's some people's, like, literally their favorite Guy Gavriel Kay book. Hi again, Lucas. It's also short. So, hey, Alan, you want another Guy Gavriel Kay book? This one's short. It's like 414 pages. Maybe Jimmy, you want some short standalones? I'll let you know how this goes. And then I'm going to read Children of Earth and Sky. Hey, Vess, if you're watching this, it kind of turns out Children of Earth and Sky is probably one of the last Guy Gavriel Kay books you should read and might be one of the worst starting points. Sorry, bud. I know Vess lives in Croatia, and his only Guy Gavriel Kay book he owns is this, because location-wise it's where Croatia is now. But it's chronologically last in the shared universe. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on. Another series I'm enjoying quite a lot, and an author I'm enjoying quite a lot that I'm going to finish, is The Black Company by Glenn Cook. I've got the last 2 omnibuses, The Return of the Black Company and The Many Deaths of the Black Company, which Erikson definitely, he was a huge fan of the series. It's one of his main inspirations. Including his tendency to have death be sometimes not permanent, and that title has me worried about that. Anyway, I've enjoyed every Black Company book. I've given them all at least 8 out of 10, like 100% of them. Glenn Cook is currently my only author with more than 2 books that I've given every book 8 out of 10. Like, on the planet. Nobody else. Now, I only have 1 book at 9 or higher, but I have enjoyed every one of these. It's not for everyone. The writing is very terse, and I don't mean that in, like, straightforward. Like, I actually still read some stuff and, like, appreciate how the words are put together. It's just very different. Like, the man can't buy a comma. Everything is a sentence. Average sentence length is probably, like, 4 words. I find actually, once you get used to it, it flows really well. His paragraphs tend to go like short sentence, short sentence, short sentence, long sentence in the middle, short sentence, short sentence, short sentence. And actually, once I got used to it, like, I worked really well. And the same is the main character does not hides things. Like, he's part of the Black Company, who he kind of sees as like his brothers, and he doesn't like saying bad things about them. So there are definitely some aspects of it that make it just not mass appeal. I think book 1 has been very different from the other 5 I've read. I'm probably going to try and get Scott, the bald booktuber, to try Shadows Linger. Shadows Linger is like if a more amoral company of mercenary Malazan Marines intersected with the life of one of the little people of a Joe Abercrombie book. It's fantastic. It's really different from the Black Company. I think there's a good chance he could like it quite a bit more. I think Scott could probably just, I might tell him just be like, read the books of the North. I think that's a much better, like, the Black Company book 1 is very different from the others. It's almost a collection of novellas that are just kind of published as a novel, while the next 2 are definitely more complete narratives. I would give the first omnibus and pretend it's 1 book. I think it's worth a try. At least give it Shadows Linger, I think. Unless you... It's so different from the Black Company. Anyways, I might end up regretting this. I might eventually wear Scott down and get him to read Shadows Linger, and then have him just dislike that as well. But whatever. I hope that doesn't happen, because Shadows Linger is really good, and I think there's still a good chance he could like it quite a bit more. It definitely is much more narratively coherent than the Black Company. Anyway, I enjoyed the Books of the South quite a lot as well. I'm excited to get to the next. I guess I have 6 books left still, but they're short. I'm gonna read, I think, the omnibuses like pretty much straight through. I think. I'm gonna definitely prioritize the Black Company. Another series that I need to finish that I have only 1 book left for is The Broken Earth by N.K. Jemisin. I've already read The Stone Sky, not The Stone Sky, The Obelisk Gate, and 5th season is fantastic as it stands on my if I do a 1 per author top book list. The 5th season would be 4 right now, so it's currently in my top 5 for the year. Really, really enjoyed that book. Incredibly ambitious, fantastic world building, really well written. Yeah, it's got second person, but I got used to that right away, and I really enjoyed the characters as well. Especially like the start of that book. The first third of the 5th season is still my favorite bit of Broken Earth so far. It's one of the best like starts to a book. Like, it's good instantly. It's not one that takes a while to get into. You can get to page 20 and be like, this is really good. The Obelisk Gate, I also liked quite a bit. But I liked the 5th season more. There were a couple things that kind of annoyed me for the ending of Obelisk Gate, but still, like, very enjoyable book. And so I'm going to hopefully read this pretty soon. Might be one of the next things I read. I'm probably early July? I don't know. Probably honestly going to read this before most of the other stuff I've already talked about. I don't know if after I finish City of Brass, if I'm going to do A Brightness Long Ago, if I'm going to do what I'm going to talk about next, if I'm going to do a Black Company book, or if I'm going to do The Stone Sky. I'm going to have to decide that. I've got a bunch of stuff I could do. I'll have to make that decision. Anyways, though, something else that is something I want to do for my own sake, and also as part of the Uni Book Club, is there's a Mistborn read-along going there. I did not participate in the Era 1. I kind of wanted to. I just didn't have time. I had so many books I wanted to read. But I have read Era 1 a lot. I think I've only read Era 2 a couple times. And I definitely want to reread Era 2. So I'm definitely in summer. They're going moderately slow. I am absolutely going to read The Alloy of Law. This might be the next book I read. I might reread The Alloy of Law. I guess I've read it more than twice. I guess I've read it a couple times. But I've read Era 1 more. This is one of my less reread Cosmere books. And I'm going to reread Shadows of Self. I'm going to be honest. These could move way up or way down. I feel like I might read these. It's all 3 of these following things are totally possible. I could read these and be like, yeah, the Era 2 fans are totally right. It's way better than Era 1. It rules. I could read it and be like, I still like it quite a bit. I still like Era 1 more. Or I could read it and go, the haters are right. These are a huge drop down from Era 1. I don't know what's going to go on. It's been a long time since I've read these. I've been waiting quite a while for The Lost Metal, and I think I've only read Bands of Mourning once. I believe I read Bands of Mourning, like, the day it came out, and then I have not read it again. I think that's 6 years ago, so I've been waiting for The Lost Metal for a while. I'm excited to read these again. I think I am a much more perceptive reader than when I last read these books, and I am looking forward to it. I'm pretty excited for these. It's not like Stormlight, which I've read so many times that, like, I know when I read Words of Radiance, I know how much I'm going to enjoy Words of Radiance. Like, I'm reading Words of Radiance not out of curiosity to see, like, if I think it still holds up. It holds up. I'm reading Words of Radiance just because I enjoy reading it over and over and over again, and I still find new stuff. I don't know how these are going to go. Anyways, once I am done The Broken Earth, I need to pick another short series to start. And by short series, I mean, like, less than 8 books. I have a weird definition of short series. Like, right now, The Black Company is my ongoing long series, even though by word count, it's not that long. I wonder if the Dandelion Dynasty is actually longer than The Black Company. It's entirely possible it is, but I consider it a short series because it's 4 books. Yes, 2 of those books were 1,000 pages. Leave me alone. But I'm going to need 2 short stories. And I don't know which of the 2 I'm going to start next, but there's 2 that it's going to be one of these 2. and they both have been compared to Hob quite a bit. And I think they're actually probably going to be both kind of similar. And it's one of these two. It's going to be either The Curse of the Chalion by Louis Master Bujold or A Shadow in Summer by Daniel Abraham. And I really want to do Curse of the Chalion just because I think it's funny to tell Alan, like, oh, I think too many people are talking about Long Price Quartet. I don't want to read that. I want to read something else. Just to out-hipster him for not reading First Law or Stormlight or Suneater. But also, I really want to read the Long Price Quartet because I'm actually... when people talk about books, I want to read it more because I'm like, that sounds really good. But I'm really excited for both of these. I know Jim Butcher considers Bujold the best writer working in fantasy right now, which is high praise. I know Smooney, I think, from some Discords, really likes Bujold. I know Pranav has really enjoyed, especially really enjoyed the second book in this. I think this is 5 books, and they're kind of like connected standalones. Shadow and Summer, on the other hand, one of Alan's favorite series. Philip Chase seems to enjoy it. Sarah seems to really enjoy it. Scott says if anyone would continue Song of Ice and Fire, it'd be Daniel Abraham. Margaret from Daniel Green's Discord really enjoys it. It's generally said to be very slow burn, very focused on the characters and their relationships, and spends a lot of time with them. I actually don't know really what this is about. Curse of the Chalion is about at all. I just know it's supposed to be good. But I'm leaning towards Curse of the Chalion and then Long Price Quartet. But I might do Long Price Quartet and then Curse of the Chalion. It's going to depend what my mood is. And then, as I said, I like to have a short series and a long series going on. And so I'm going to tell you what my long series is going to be after The Black Company. I might start it in summer because there's a long series that a lot of you have read. This next long series is going to be a sci-fi series. It will not be a fantasy, and it will be The Expanse by James S.A. Corey, which is actually 2 people. One of whom is Daniel Abraham. The other is Ty Frank. I was right. I should have just gone with it. I was pretty sure it was Ty Frank, and then I was like, wait, no, does his last name start with T? But no, it was Ty Frank. So yeah, this is also partially Daniel Abraham. So I might be reading 2 Daniel Abraham things at the same time, which will make me a real Daniel Abraham fan, and then I can tell Alan he hasn't read The Expanse and is a fake Daniel Abraham fan, which I'll enjoy. It'll be really immature, but we're all allowed to be a little immature sometimes. And I think I might also randomly read something completely else from this. I also might reread stuff. I might reread Words of Radiance. I might reread Assassin's Quest. I might reread like Tigana or The Lines of Our Song. I might randomly pick up a Game of Thrones. Who knows? Reread me shall be a mood reader, but my guess is for new books I read, like if you exclude rereads, I know I am planning 2 rereads on here, but whatever, leave me alone. But my guess is I will mostly follow these. I don't know exactly what order these will go in, but I will probably read most of this before I read most of anything else. And I think that is kind of the plan. Let me know if you're gonna if this read along has piqued your interest. Jimmy or Kyle or anyone else, let me know, or RJ, let me know. Would you be a part of the live show? And do you think I'm going to love or hate the stuff on here? Are you in the read along on Alan's channel? I don't know. A lot of stuff to comment about is who's more like Hob, not who's better. I want to know who's better. I want anyone who has read A Long Price Quartet and Curse of the Chalion, which is the series is The World of the Five Gods. I actually want to know both. Which do you think is better? And if you want, you can split it into which do you think is better written and which you prefer, if you prefer to differentiate between those. And I want you to know if you've also read Hob, which is more similar to Hob. I await your answers. My guess is the pool of people who have both read World of the Five Gods, Long Price Quartet, and are at the end of this video is pretty low. So if you're at the end of the video but haven't read all those, you can comment, I meet one criteria but not the other, and just confuse everyone who didn't make it this far. I saw another booktuber do that, like the comment thing, if you've seen this at the end of the video, and I'm stealing it now. I think it was Johanna. Yeah, but she just said comment hi. So And then I stole that idea and was like, comment the hell, like, the Undertaker threw Mankind off Hell in a Cell and he fell 16 feet through the announcer's table. But no, this time it's I meet one criteria and not the other. Or if you do meet both, let me know. I'm actually really curious what to see, because I absolutely could do those in either order. So if you read both and thinks one's way better, let me know. So far, everyone I've talked to has only read one of the two. So everyone is either like, I've only read World of the Five Gods and think you should read that because it's definitely much better. Or I've only read A Long Price Quartet and think you should read that because it's much better. I have actually yet to talk to someone who's read both. So if you exist and are watching this, even if you're normally a lurker, please just short comment. Just, this series is better. Because I literally have not ran into anyone who's ran both. So I just have to, like, both sides. It's like, no, you should read this. And I'm like, you haven't read the other one. Like, how do you know? Anyway, I've rambled at the end here. But, frankly, if you weren't here for rambling, you wouldn't be here at all. So, bye, everyone.